When a squirrel wakes up, there's one thing on its mind. Where's the walnut? Where's the hazelnut? It wants the nut. It needs the nut. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, if it's foggy. It gets up and moves its little paws towards that objective. Now this is dangerous because there's dozens of threats out there that could end its life. It could be a dog, a cat, a hawk, or even a car. The odds are dramatically stacked up against the squirrel. But despite all of this, it continues. It doesn't take the day off or feel sorry for itself or just give up. It doesn't have that option. The squirrel is laser focused on finding food. And it's this dedication, it's this perseverance, it's this focus that will enable it to attain its objective. But when we take the same approach, we often fail. Why is this? We're both mammals. We're both animals. Why is the squirrel able to attain the nut and we're not able to attain our objectives? Maybe we don't want it as bad as the squirrel wants the nut. Well, here are some reasons for that. First is distractions. You might like the idea of moving towards a goal. Maybe you want to attain a new job. Maybe you would like to have that master's degree. You like that idea, but you don't like it that much, right? Because you allow distractions to come in and pull attention and pull focus. Netflix is pulling attention. Your friends is pulling attention. The computer game is pulling attention and it's distracting you. It's so loud and noisy. You have a problem with silencing that and focusing on the objective and the path in order to make progress towards that goal. Let's look at the squirrel again. What does it do in the face of distractions? It sees a barking dog, so it runs up a light pole, it crosses the street, and it continues with looking for the walnut. So what's the solution? Plan your day ahead of time, before you even wake up. This includes the tasks that move you closer to your goal, but this will only work if you trust yourself. And you trust yourself when you stop lying to yourself. If you say you're going to do something, it needs to be set in stone. If you say it, it happens. You speak it into fruition. You can't go back on it. You cannot make the excuses. You can't make justifications on why you didn't do it. If you say you're going to do it, you do it. Write up a list. These are the tasks I'm going to complete today. When you complete them, strike them out. When you're striking them out, it creates a chemical reaction in your brain. You feel like you're making progress. You can see the progress, and that will help you continue with the next task. But if you're the type of person that says, hey, I'm gonna start going to the gym more next month, but then next month you don't even go to the gym, or maybe you go only one time, hey, you know that you're lying to yourself. Despite what you tell yourself, you know whether you can be trusted or not. So if you can't be trusted, then the first step is to start building trust, and that trust will transform into self-respect. Another reason is motivation. Maybe the idea of the accomplishment feels nice. Like, let's imagine for a moment, we're finishing a marathon and the medal's being hung around our neck. That's a nice idea. And it's a lot easier than waking up 3 or 4 times in a week to go put in a 10 to 15 mile run to prepare your body for that marathon. Just imagining it is so much easier than putting in the work. So you have to ask yourself, is this something that you actually want to achieve? Or do you just like the idea of it? Find out, do some self-searching and find out, how bad do you actually want this goal? Are you really serious about getting a better job? Or will you just quit after 50 applications? Knowing that the 51st application could be the one with the job offer, will you quit or will you continue? Are you serious about investing? Because you know that if you invest $500 a month for 10 years, that turns into $100,000. Or will you quit after year 1 and never make it to year 10, and then you just take the $6,000 and blow it on something dumb? Let's look back at the squirrel. What motivates it? Well, it's food, but more importantly than that, it is its life. It's not trying to make its mama proud or its papa proud. It's not trying to make friends and socialize and then try to flex on their neighbors. The squirrel isn't trying to do any of that. The squirrel is trying to survive. So it's really hard for us to compete with that type of energy because we're not wired that way. Not anymore. We're more wired of taking the path of least resistance, of staying in our comfort zone, staying under the warm blanket where everything is safe and nice. That's what many of us want to do. And it's hard to change that way of thinking to start aggressively pursuing our goals and not accepting excuses or justifications. So how do we build that motivation? How can we compete with that? Well, in one word, action. That's how you build motivation. It has to start with action, because if you're not doing the action, the motivation will never come, or it'll never last. Start making meaningful action now. And once you act, you build that momentum that develops into a habit, and the momentum continues until you're able to attain your goal. Another reason is fear. What will people think about your failures? Who cares? Most of the people that you're worrying about, the critics out there, the naysayers, 2 or 3 weeks after you pass, are they going to think about you? Are you going to be occupying any space in their head? No one's going to be thinking about you. So why are you allowing them to limit your potential, to limit your action because you're worried about what someone's going to say? That's ridiculous. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you're the one that doesn't believe in yourself. And if that's the case, you need to become intimately involved in failure. You need to be able to embrace the failure, to welcome it, because that's where the lessons are. That's where the next version of yourself lies. If you're looking for version 2.0 of yourself, it lies in a big pile of failure. When I was a younger guy, I sat in a quantitative analysis class, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to be able to pass this class. I looked at the textbook, I read the syllabus, I said, there's no way. This is advanced formulas, advanced statistical formulas that I was not familiar with. I didn't feel like I was going to be able to pass it. But then another part of my brain kicked in, and I said, you know what? The teacher's going to have to fail me because I'm not dropping this class. I could have dropped it. I could have changed my major, but I didn't. I thought to myself, I'm not quitting. She is going to have to fail me. That is the only way that I'm leaving this class, is if she fails me. And it was difficult. It was hard. I had to redo assignments. You know, there was a point in time where I actually thought that I was going to fail, but ultimately I passed the course. You have to face your fears and just think about the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario for me in that situation, I was going to fail. I would get an F, and then maybe I would retake it and just keep retaking it, get a tutor. But in every situation, you have to imagine the worst case scenario, the worst outcome. You're not going to be perfect, and life would be incredibly dull if everything was perfect. Embrace your failures and become stronger. Now, if you're watching this and you want to find a better job, but you're sick and tired of applying because every time you go on Indeed or every other website and you apply, you get rejected or you don't hear back, so you're sick of it. There's another way to get a job, to get a good job without the frustration of having to apply online every day. And if you want to know what that is, then I want you to watch this video next. If you would like to see more videos like that, please click that like button and the subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.